Liara, habla conmigo.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
I'm just glad we got there in time.
So am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks
Hey,
at
si
me,
alguien te
they do
dice
not
algo,
trust
me dices si
But
los
I am not
tiramos al
like
espacio.
Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
Sounds dangerous. And lonely.
Sometimes I would run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumble across a small band of mercenaries or privateers, but I was always careful. Until the Geth followed me to Artemis Tau, I never found myself in any situation my biotics could not handle. As for the solitude, well, that is one aspect that most appealed to me. Sometimes I just need to get away from other people.
You don't like other people?
I suppose it comes from being a matriarch's daughter. People expected me to follow in Benezia's footsteps. They wanted me to become a leader of our people. Matriarchs guide their followers into the future. They seek the truth of what is yet to come. Maybe that's why I became so interested in the secrets of the past. It sounds so foolish when I say it out loud. It sounds like I became an archaeologist simply to spite Benezia.
No, a mí me gusta también la arqueología y la historia.
All children rebel against their parents. It's a natural part of growing up.
Aha, you share the wisdom of the matriarch, Shepherd. That is exactly what Benezia said when I told her of my decision. But there was more to it than that. I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them. That is why I find you so fascinating. You were marked by the beacon on Eden Prime. You were touched by working Prothean technology.
Sounds like you want to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No, I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepherd. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Calm down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool. Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Ojalá que en el remake o el remaster que están haciendo le arreglen los ojos, que siempre que hablas con ella como que cierra un ojo, como que parece como si estuviera loca. A ver, Venecia, creo que Venecia ya sabemos un poco, ¿no?
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
Era lo que mencionaba, ya se pueden reproducir con cualquiera de la galaxia. Pero creo que siempre va a resultar una Asari de esa reproducción. No importa que, por ejemplo, sea un hombre, ¿no? El que se reproduce con ella. O sea, un hombre humano. No va a salir ya sea un niño humano, ya sea hombre o mujer. Siempre va a salir una Asari.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
Básicamente, te cogen la mente. ¿Cómo será eso? ¿Será como las drogas? Tal vez, ¿no?
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
A ver la edad.
Asari lived for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
I thought you always needed another species to serve as one of the parents.
Think about it, Shepard. If we were not able to mate with our own species, we would have died out long before we ever mastered spaceflight and left our homeworld. Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood, though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face. It is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Hey, hey. Nadie se va a avergonzar de tenerte a ti.
Maybe she wanted to
Al
meet
menos
you,
yo no.
but couldn't. Something could have happened to her. Maybe she passed away.
You might be right. I hope you are. But I have no way to know for sure. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Ahora que me quedo pensando, si dos Asaris tienen, o bueno, deciden procrear, ¿cómo es que se decide quién es la que va a tener al hijo o la hija en este caso? ¿Por qué no puede pasar que de repente las dos están embarazadas? A ver, ok, ya con esto. Vámonos.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
¿Puedo hablar otra vez con ella? Creo que no, ¿verdad?
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
I just wanted to talk.
Of course, Shepard. What did you want to talk about?
No, ok, no.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Vamos a hablar con... ¿Quién me falta? Garrus, Rex y... De hecho, hace rato no hablé con Rex. Antes de hacer la primera misión. Aquí está Tali, ¿no? Ah, no. Tali está hasta abajo. Voy a necesitar vender un poco de mis cosas para poder comprar otra armadura mejor. Y creo que también aquí abajo puedo ir a sus lockers para ponerles mejores armaduras. A ver, es lo que voy a hacer primero porque si no se me va a olvidar. Vamos a guardar antes. El equipo de Liara. Ella puede utilizar armadura de humanos, así que le voy a dar... Creo que solo puede utilizar armadura ligera, ¿no? Sí. Un poco más de escudos, pero menos protección contra el daño. Uy, qué raro. Bueno, y creo que puedo utilizar pistolas. 120, 128... A ver, le voy a dar esta de 120, la de 128 me la voy a quedar yo. De hecho creo que esta misma es la que tengo yo. Y te vas a quedar con... antipersonal, ¿no? Orgánicos. ¿A dónde vamos a ir primero? Sí, ya sé a dónde vamos a ir. Te voy a dejar este antipersonal. Y también... creo que el sensor de combate también les sirve a ellos, no lo sé. Creo que ya solamente puedo utilizar pistolas. No recuerdo muy bien. Amplificador biótico... nope. Vale, y Rex, que son los que voy a estar utilizando. Tú ten una nueva escopeta. Y ya, bueno, también estás utilizando tu fusil de asalto, pero no está muy bien. A ver, lo demás lo vamos a vender. Aunque necesito ponerme yo... ok, eso es lo mismo. La pistola... ok, no me sirve, se la voy a dar entonces a esta Liara. A ver, tú quédate entonces con esta pistola. Y lo demás ahora sí lo vendo.
Looking for supplies?
Sí.
Let's see what you've got.
You bet, Commander.
A ver, vamos a vender granadas. Todo lo que sea de nivel 1, adiós. Nivel 2 también porque ya estamos empezando a tener nivel 3. Mira, mejorada. Las municiones, tal vez... no sé si venderlas todas. La química, puedo aceptar venderla. Voy a guardar una de cada uno. Otro amortiguador, sumidor de calor. Ok, pistolas, estas ya no me sirven. ¿Qué hice? Compré, ¿verdad? Ah, no, solamente lo cambié, ok. Pistola, sí. Fusil de asalto. ¿Por qué estoy poniendo aquí otra vez? Aceptar, pistola, fusil de asalto también. Escopetas también. La armadura... yo no me acuerdo si utilizo media. Creo que utilizo ligera nada más. El francotirador, sí también. Las escopetas también. Esto es para garros. Vale. Oh, mira, aquí están de nivel 3, reto amortiguador. Entonces vendo este. Listo, y ahora sí a comprar. ¿Para qué me alcanza? Pistola, no. Armadura, quiero esto. A ver. Ligera, pero es común. No hay de... espectro. No. Bueno, esta... se la voy a comprar para Liara. Necesito que pueda aguantar más. Yo aguanto pues suficiente, ¿no? Aparte de que yo me puedo esconder bien. Listo. Y las otras las vendo ahora sí. Aunque yo que puedo tener ligera, mediano. Ok, solamente ligera. Ah, cierto, les tengo que poner las mejoras a ellos también. A ver. Armadura. Ponte. Tejido endurecido. Endurecimiento. Ataques bióticos y tecnológicos. Y regeneración. Ok, regeneración de escudos para ti. Y para Rex... bueno, a Garros le voy a poner también la otra armadura. Quédate con eso. Uy, joder, ¿por qué no se la puse antes? ¿O será que apenas la conseguí? Y tú, Rex, creo que para ti no tengo nada, ¿verdad? No. Bueno, pero la tuya está bien por lo mientras. Te voy a poner el tejido endurecido. Ahora sí, vamos a vender lo demás. Creo que Tali también utiliza armaduras de humano, no recuerdo muy bien.
Let's see what you've got. You bet, Commander.
Vale, te quiero vender lo que me queda. Ligera humana, media humana. Y ya, así. Y bueno.
Looking for supplies?
Let's see what you've got.
You bet.
Tal vez un fusil de asalto, ¿no? Fusil de asalto 4 Lancer. Lo comparo con el que yo tengo. Hace menos daño, pero se calienta menos. Y creo que tiene mejor puntería. Me lo quiero comprar, pero creo que mejor me espero para ver si después sale otra mejor armadura. A ver, ahora sí. Tali primero. Que yo recuerde, creo que aquí, en el primer juego, no puedes tener un romance con Tali como tal. O sea, solo puedes hablar un poco con ella, pero no hay muchas interacciones. En el segundo sí. Pero Tali no me gusta.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Nope.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Oh, hello, Shepard.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me, especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving, and the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually. But we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
La vez pasada le pregunté de los Get nada más, ¿verdad? Creo que no de los coreanos.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. There are 17 million quarries.
Ah, no, sí, le pregunté.
We have had to surrender many of the free... Like what?
Vale, creo que ella ya no me va a decir nada más.
I should go.
See you later.
Ahora toca Garrus. Voy a guardar otra vez.
Commander, how are you?
Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
That's tough, but you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
You were asked to be a Spectre?
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate. Me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
Es una lástima.
Not all Spectres are like Saren, you know.
Of course not. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
You're a quick learner, Garrus. We'll beat him at his own game. It's the only way to stop someone like him.
I'm right behind you, Commander.
Vale, ahora Rex.
Shepard, what can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
You Krogan live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
Sorry, Rex. I wasn't trying to get you upset.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist? You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
So long, Rex.
Vale, un poco de la historia de los Krogan es justamente eso. Tienen un tipo virus que se llama la genofagia que controla la población. Los Krogan se reproducen mucho, son muy rápidos reproduciéndose, son como lagartos. Entonces, bueno, como ya había mencionado, creo que en otra ocasión, de ellos mismos destruyeron su propio planeta por sus guerras internas. Son una cultura de guerreros. Entonces destruyeron su propio planeta y empezaron a colonizar otros. El problema fue que, como se pueden reproducir tan rápido, entonces se iban a volver un peligro para la galaxia. Entonces los salarianos lo que hicieron fue crear una bacteria, por así decirlo, que limita la cantidad de Krogan que pueden pues sobrevivir al nacimiento. Entonces, básicamente los evitaron justamente que se volvieran inestables a costa de, pues, básicamente matarlos.
Commander, you have a minute to talk?
¿Qué quieres?
Is this duty related, Chief?
No, sir. Well, maybe. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
Don't mince words, Chief. What's your concern?
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
How do you get from relying on ourselves to mistreating our allies?
I don't mean we should mistreat them, Commander. I just think we should be prepared to go it without them. As noble as the council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
Ok. Aquí eso es verdad.
The Council's had a grudge against us since the First Contact War.
I don't think it's a grudge. I think it's... Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
These seem like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded.
My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
All right. I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're going to have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
Ah, shit. Ah, shit, me provocan. No me gusta este tipo, pero... bueno.
Would you kiss anyone I ordered you to?
No puedes dejar una pregunta así volando.
If you ordered me to kiss a superior officer, that would be a violation of the regs concerning fraternization. That would make it an illegal order. I'd be required to decline and relieve you of command. Sir.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story.
Hey, hey,
Her mom not
hey.
talking.
No hables mierda de Liara. Déjala en paz.
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least, I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it. Hey, want me to ask her about her sex life? Might be illuminating.
What the fuck? No.
Is that the best way to spend your time, Chief?
I read you, Commander. I'll behave.
Eso
Too
chinga.
bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
¿Algo más?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy
¿Otra
Dr.
vez?
Tassoni's story about her and her mom not
I
talking.
think she's being straight with
Yeah. Hey, want me to ask her about her sex life? Might be.
Is that the best way to...
I read. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted.
We'll talk later.
Looking
Vale.
forward to it, sir.
Es todo lo que pueden decir. Vámonos a la siguiente misión. A ver, creo que tenía que... Feros. O... Noveria. No, Feros. Feros es más fácil que Noveria. Bueno... Depende. Estamos en la dificultad más alta y... rescatar a Liara fue un problema. Pero suponiendo que ya contamos con Lara, que diga con Liara, creo que Feros sería más fácil.